2016 Jeep Renegade. This is the 4x4 TrackHawk edition, and today we're going to be doing the front brake pads and rotors. Let's get to it. For the front brake job today, these are the parts that we're going to be using. Here are your part numbers for the rotors and your part number for the gold level brake pads. Front brakes, first thing we need to do is go ahead and remove this wheel. The lug nuts holding it, I'm sorry, these are actually lug bolts. The lug bolts holding these in are 18 millimeters. You can see that they are lug bolts. So when you remove this, the only thing that's going to be holding it is the rim sitting on the little hub right here. Make sure you be careful when removing your last lug bolts, or else it could fall and pressure down. Next, go ahead and turn our front brakes like so. Give us plenty of room to access our caliper bolts located right here, and they look like they're 14s. And remove those bolts. So we can go ahead and remove our caliper. Slide that off. Check your guide pins. And go ahead and get our old brake pads out of here. And now we're going to remove our brake caliper mounting bracket. These are located right here, these two bolts right here, and back to standard, these are a 5/8. Probably help if I had grabbed the 5/8 for my impact and not a 1/2 inch. Next, we go ahead and remove the old rotor. Our bolt right here is a T30. Maybe. Oh, that hurt my knuckle. That's all right though, because it came loose. So I call that a win. And now to remove the old rotor, grab yourself a hefty hammer. You're just going to give some taps around the hub here. There we go. All right, go ahead and put our brand new rotor on, and we're going to align that hole right there. Make sure it's up on the hub properly. And we're going to go ahead and put our rotor bolt back in. Making sure to apply pressure to the middle of the rotor to make sure it's flush on the hub before we put it down. And this doesn't need to go down hard. Just give it a little bit of an oomph just to make sure it stays in there. Trust me, don't put it down hard, because if you gotta take that thing off in the future, a couple years from now, that's gonna be a pain in the butt. Next step, and a very important one, grab yourself a can of brake clean, and we're going to clean off this brand new rotor. When rotors are manufactured, they actually cover these in oil to make sure they don't rust while they're sitting in their boxes. And we need to get that oil off, because it's going to make a bunch of smoke, and your brand new brake pads will actually absorb that oil and it'll actually deteriorate the brake pad and they won't live as long. And if we're doing a brake job, obviously we want our brand new brake pads to last as long as possible. So don't be stingy, give them a good soak down, front and back best you can. And on to the next step. Next, let's go ahead and get our caliper mounting bracket ready for reuse. Removing our old hardware. And again, checking those guide pins, making sure that they can spin and pull in and out freely. Beautiful. If these need to be relubricated, go ahead and yank them out, put some brake parts lubricator on there and reinstall. Now, inside of your box of brake pads, you will hopefully receive a set of new hardware. You're going to install it just like so, making sure that you press these pins here and here down tight, because you don't want the rotor's going to be right here. You don't want the rotor to hit this, making a bunch of loud squealing noises while you're driving down the road, and then have to do this whole job again. Nobody likes doing the same job again. Pressing here and again. Press down here and here. So, get yourself some brake lube. And you go ahead and put a little dot right where the brake pad's going to be sitting. Down there. Doesn't take a lot, literally just a dot. Put too much and it could end up rubbing out and getting onto the brake rotor, and we don't want that. Just a little dot. Let's go ahead and put our caliper mounting bracket back on. Making sure those are down nice and tight. Grab your brand new brake pads. How nice these are. And slide them into place. And your brake pad with your wear indicator, that's this bar right here. And when the brake pad wears down to a certain amount, it's going to start grinding into your rotor, letting you know that your brake pads are about to run out. These always go on the rear. Some cases you'll have wear indicators that come on both pads, in which case obviously they go on the front and the rear. There are a few exceptions obviously, but in most cases, because the inner pad typically wears down faster than the outer pad, because this is the side that the actual piston is on for the caliper. This side typically wears down faster than that side, and that's why you want your wear indicator on the inside pad. Next, let's go ahead and compress our caliper. Grabbing an old brake pad and my trusty C-clamp. Raise that up a little bit and hopefully spin this the correct way. And go ahead and press this down. And yes, I know, before you jump in the comment section, I know that they make special tools for compressing calipers. Those typically last about 6 months before they break. And you're back to buying a $30 to $50 tool, when this $10, it says 6-inch, but this is more like a 9-inch clamp. I don't even know where I got this, but if they got the measurement on their own tool wrong, then that's how you know it's that cheap. And it still lasted me about 10 years. So I'm just gonna keep using what works. And now we can go ahead, flip our caliper over, and reinstall onto our shiny brand new brake pads and rotors. Put our bolts back in. Make sure to start both of them by hand first before you do anything else. And then go ahead and put them both down. And just like that, you're done. You just replaced your own brake pads and rotors on your Jeep Renegade. I knew you could do it. I didn't doubt it for a second. One thing important to remember, before starting your vehicle, pump your brakes. These calipers are going to need to reset, and if you put your thing and slam it into reverse to pull out of your driveway or wherever, you're just gonna keep on going. You're gonna have no brakes, all right? Pump your brakes. You need to pump them up to build that pressure back up to get these calipers reseated against your new brake pads and stuff, so don't forget to do that. Other than that, this video helped you out. Leave a like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.